Hello again. Welcome back to week 39 of year 5 of the Religious Education Initiative. This is day 2. We're continuing through the sermon of St. Epiphanios on Holy Saturday. So last time we saw how the angels surrounding... Christ is risen, Christos anesti, because this is also the leave-taking of Pascha. So this will be the last time we say it. So last time we saw how the angels surrounding Joseph and Nicodemus reflected on the scene in Hades, where the righteous of the Old Testament cried out to the Lord in the words of the prophets and the Psalms, asking for deliverance from bondage. And as they reflected, they exhorted one another and us to descend into Hades to see how the Lord would deliver all of them and imprison all the powers of hell in their own prison. This time we will see the Lord go down into the depths and shine everlasting light into the darkness. Accordingly, he who yesterday refused the aid of legions of angels in his economy, telling Peter, "I could even now set before me more than 12 legions of angels," today, with God-befitting majesty, as both warrior and master, goes down by means of death to the depths of death and hell, to oppose the tyrant of death, having with him immortal legions of bodiless soldiers and invisible orders, and not 12 only, but thousands of thousands and 10,000s of 10,000s, angels, archangels, powers, thrones, 6-winged seraphim, many-eyed cherubim, and all the hosts of heaven, escorting, attending, and hymning Christ as their own master and king, not indeed as fellow warriors, perish the thought, for what reinforcements could Christ Almighty need, but out of both their duty and longing to stand constantly by God their Master. Among them are loyal spearmen, keen footmen, and swift scepter-bearers of the Master's divine orders, who at a mere gesture outrun one another with divine alacrity and zeal, at once putting deed into action at his command, and arraying themselves in triumph against the ranks of the enemy tyrants. Wherefore they then descended, hasting and hurtling to follow after their God and Master toward the infernal subterranean habitations of those sleeping from past ages hidden deep beneath the earth, to bring out the prisoners and those who had fallen asleep since the world began. Now, when the luminous presence of the Master's divine retinue had arrived at the walled-off, sunless, pitch-black habitations of Hades, with its dens and dungeons, caves and caverns, Gabriel the chief commander went before all, it being his custom to bring glad tidings of joy unto men, and as befits an archangel in general, issued to the hostile powers a mighty resounding and lion-like command, saying, "Lift up your gates, O you princes!" And after him cried Michael, "And be ye lift up, ye everlasting gates." Thereafter the virtues said, "Stand back, ye lawless porters." Then the powers said with power, "Be broken, ye unbreakable bonds." And another, "Be abashed, ye inimical foes." And yet another, "Be affrighted, ye lawless tyrants." And just as before the battle array of some terrible and invulnerable, all-powerful royal trophy-bearing army, a certain terror and trembling, panic and painful fear seized the enemies of an unconquerable king. Just so did it befall those in Hades at Christ's unexpected coming to the netherworld, which occurred like a sudden lightning flash from above, blinding the eyes of the hostile powers of hell, as they heard certain thunderous voices bellowing, and angelic hosts commanding and saying, "Lift up your gates, O ye princes, lift up your gates. Do not simply open them, but lift them up from their foundations, root them out, and remove them, that they may never more be shut. Lift up your gates, O ye princes," not as though the Master here present is unable, even with the doors shut, to enter in at his own bidding, but because as fugitive slaves he relegates you to the task of raising, removing, and shattering the everlasting gates, on which account he commands not the common lot among you, but those reckoned by you to be princes, saying, "Lift up your gates, O ye princes." Princes, and not any other sort among you, for if indeed until now ye have wickedly exercised princedom over those sleeping from the ages, yet henceforth ye shall be their princes no longer, neither of any others, but of yourselves only, yet not even of yourselves. Lift up your gates, for Christ the heavenly door is at hand. Make way for him that rideth into the dusky regions of hell. Lord is his name, and to the Lord belong the ways out from the gates of death. Ye indeed made the entryways of death, but he is come to make the ways leading out therefrom. Wherefore, lift up your gates, O ye princes, lift them up, and do not delay, lift them up and make haste, lift them up and do not wait. For if ye think to tarry, we shall command the same gates to be lifted up without hands of themselves, saying, "Be ye lift up, ye everlasting gates." No sooner had the hosts of heaven cried out than at once the gates were lifted up, at once the chains and bars were broken, at once the bolts fell away, at once the foundations of the prison were shaken, at once the hostile forces took flight, one running into another, another tripping over the other, one shouting at the other to flee. They were terrified, shaken, astonished, dismayed, bewildered, stunned, and stupefied, confused, and quivering. One stood with mouth agape, another hid his head between his knees, another was sprawled out face to the ground, another stood stiff as a corpse, another was seized with terror, another lay petrified and pale-faced, while another fled further inside. There did Christ cleave with frenzy the heads of the mighty. There were they shaken by him. There did they gape open their mouths and say, Who is this King of glory? Who is this great one who with such great numbers performs here such great wonders? Who is this King of glory who works now in hell things never before done in hell? Who is this that brings out hence the prisoners of all the ages? Who is this that undoes our imperishable power and pride? Then the Master's forces shouted to them in reply, saying, Would ye learn who is this King of glory? The Lord, strong and mighty, the Lord, mighty and powerful and invincible in battle. This is he who thrust you out and banished you from the vaults of heaven, O ye miserable criminal tyrants. This is he who brake the heads of your dragons in the waters of Jordan. This is he who by the cross openly put you to scorn, triumphed over you, and mortally wounded you. This is he who bound you in chains and cast you into the dark abyss. This is he who shall expel and destroy you in the eternal fire of Gehenna. So do not dally, do not tarry, but hurry and send forth those whom until now you have cruelly swallowed up. For your dominion is now abolished, your tyranny is now ceased, your insolence is miserably quashed, your arrogance is brought to an end, your strength is trampled on and destroyed. Okay, hang on, I'm going to get something. So what St. Epiphanios is doing here is he is interpreting and expanding the psalm that speaks of this moment, which we'll read. It's Psalm 24 in the normal numbering, in Psalm 23 in the Septuagint. So he expands this. He's explaining it. This is effectively a midrashic approach. I think he's taking the text and he's enlarging it. So, Psalm 24, The earth is the Lord's, and the fullness thereof, the world and those who dwell therein, for he has founded it upon the seas, and established it upon the rivers. Who shall ascend the hill of the Lord, and who shall stand in his holy place? He who has clean hands and a pure heart, who does not lift up his soul to what is false, and does not swear deceitfully, he will receive blessing from the Lord, and righteousness from the God of his salvation. Such is the generation of those who seek him, who seek the face of the God of Jacob. That's the first part of the psalm. And then, lift up your gates, lift up your heads, O gates, and be lifted up, O ancient doors, that the King of glory may come in. Who is this King of glory? The Lord strong and mighty, the Lord mighty in battle. Lift up your heads, O you princes, and be lifted up, O everlasting doors, that the King of glory may come in. Who is this King of glory? The Lord of hosts. He is the King of glory. So now we learn, we hear from St. Epiphanios who it is that says these things, who it is that responds to them, and what is the scene in which these things are accomplished. So, Christ is risen, Christos anesti. God bless you all. We'll see you shortly for the day 3 reading.